guys, it's Margie, and today I'm doing a movie review of the 1995 film Dead Man Walking. This film starred Susan Sarandon, Sean Penn, Robert Prosky, Raymond J. Barry, R. Lee Ermey, Celia Weston, Lois Smith, Scott Wilson, Roberta Maxwell, Margot Martindale, Adele Robbins, Steve Bowles, Nesbitt Blaisdell, Ray Arjona, Larry Pine, Gil Robbins, Kevin Cooney, Peter Skarsgård, Missy Yeager, Jenny Cromacole, and Jack Black. It was directed by Tim Robbins, who also directed Cradle Will Rock. Music was by David Robbins, Tim Robbins' brother, who also did the music for Cradle Will Rock and Savior. Cinematography was by Roger Deakins. Yay, Roger Deakins! I love this man. Okay, he also did cinematography for everything in the universe, including Revolutionary Road, Doubt, The Reader, In the Valley of Elah, The Village, which I've done a previous review of, No Country for Old Men, Intolerable Cruelty, which I've done a previous review of, The Big Lebowski, Shawshank Redemption, on and on it goes. Okay. Edited by Ray Hubley, who also edited Scarface, and Lisa Zeno Churgin, who also edited Pitch Perfect and The Cider House Rules. Screenplay was by Tim Robbins, based on the novel by Sister Helen, who this is like a true story. Produced by Tim Robbins, Rudd Simmons, who also produced High Fidelity, John Killick, who also produced The Hunger Games, Inside Man, Pollock, and Malcolm X. And Eric Fellner and Tim Bevan are a production team, and they together have produced Les Miserables, Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy, Love Actually, Pride and Prejudice, Notting Hill, Fargo, Four Weddings and a Funeral, The Big Lebowski, Bridget Jones' Diary, and everything else in the universe. They have produced so many things. Okay, plot is, basically, it's the story of this Sister Helen, played by Susan Sarandon, who receives a letter from a man who is on death row for murdering two people, and he says, hey, will you come meet with me, and will you help me get a lawyer, and will you just, like, be my friend, and etc., and she says, sure, and so it's the story of their journey and his journey on death row. Okay, guys, let's talk about performances here. Susan Sarandon won an Oscar for her performance in this movie. Thought she killed it. I really did. Out of her category, too, I looked up to see who else was in her category when she won this Oscar. I think Emma Thompson was the only other person that even came close to the quality of her performance in Sense and Sensibility, and I do think Susan deserved it over her. Emma Thompson absolutely kills the role in Sense and Sensibility. She does, but Susan Sarandon, this role is just great, and she killed it. So I think she did. I totally think she deserved the Oscar. Her role is wonderful, and you fall in love with her character, and you fall in love with her character a lot because of her acting. Her acting is great. Her cry scenes are gorgeous. Oh, yay! Marge was in love with Susan Sarandon, because I'm always talking about how I love good cry scenes, and she killed all of her cry scenes, like, so believable. And it's just raw and organic. Like, her performance is so charming, and you just love her character so much, and she totally brought life to her, and it was beautiful. I loved her performance. It was great. Sean Penn had a good performance as well. Some people thought that he was too, like, wooden and too kind of lifeless in some of his scenes with Susan, but two things. A, the movie is, honestly, although he is the title role, he's the dead man walking, the movie is not about him. So I felt like he was trying to not steal anything from Susan, which he totally did not. And B, his character, I think he portrayed perfectly, because I think his character would be feeling just lifeless and hollow and emotionless up until the end, which is when he had decent crying scenes. I thought his emotion was real. It was just good. He had a really good performance. He was also nominated for an Oscar for this role. Robert Prosky had a good performance. It didn't blow me away, but I thought it was very good. Raymond J. Barry, who plays one of the murdered children's dad, he plays the boy's father that was murdered, killed it. Like, totally killed it. He had a really good performance. And he's in a lot of the, like, more of the movie than you would think. He has a lot of scenes with Susan. I thought he just killed it. R. Lee Ermey, who plays the girl's dad that was murdered, also did a good job. And I thought and some people will think, oh, he's too wooden or whatever, but they're trying to contrast how two different men would react to their children being killed, and Raymond J. Barry's character is supposed to be very, like, emotional and lovable, and the girl's father is not supposed to be as lovable. You're kind of not supposed to like him and think he's a hard-hearted, merciless person in a way, and he just killed it. He did awesome. Celia Weston plays the girl's mother that was murdered, killed it. Her crying scenes are so good. She did so well. Okay, I'm jumping down the list here to Roberta Maxwell, who plays Sean Penn's mother in this film. Killed it. Killed it, killed it. The cry scenes were so good. Oh my god. Y'all, the people that had to cry in this movie just totally killed it. There's so many good cry scenes in this movie. I was in love. I was just like, yes. Oh. And honestly, personally, my gauge of, honestly, like, how good somebody's cry scene is my own reaction, because I am the biggest sympathetic crier. Like, if it's real and, like, people are hurting, like, I do terrible at funerals because I look at the family and I see them crying and I just, like, start weeping. Like, I can't handle it. So I was like, to me, honestly, if the actors, like, are really crushing it, I will cry, because I'll just be like, I'm so sad that they're sad. Like, it doesn't even matter what the film is about. Like, if someone's really in pain, like, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't handle this. And so I was, like, crying. I wasn't, like, weeping, but, like, tears in my eyes. I was like, this is so awesome. Like, oh my gosh. Plus the nature of the film and the story and everything was just emotionally overwhelming. But especially Susan and Roberta Maxwell, all of their crying scenes just, like, got me, and it was so awesome. Oh my god, this is my kind of movie based on awesome cry scenes alone, because I freaking love a good cry scene. It is beautiful. So of course I'm gonna really enjoy this film because of that alone. Anyway, let's talk about the last person here that I picked out to talk about, which was Margot Martindale. Margot Martindale has been in everything, every movie. Like, she is such a 80s, 90s, and 2000s supporting actress. She has worked so much, especially in the 90s. She is in everything as a supporting actress. She's always somebody's mother, somebody's sister, somebody's cousin, somebody's aunt. Usually, you know, supporting the main character. She does such a good job every time. She killed this role, as she always does, and her laugh, this is, like, totally random, her laugh is so good. I love her laugh. It makes me so happy. Like, when she laughs, she just really laughs. Like, it comes from everything within her, and I'm just like, you're awesome, because it makes me laugh. It's so good. I loved her performance. There's so many good performances in this movie, guys. Legit. Legit. Oh my gosh. The performances in this movie are probably, I can't believe I'm going to say this, the performances in this movie as a cast, as a whole, as an ensemble, is probably one of the best group cast performances I've ever seen. Just because they all worked together perfectly. They all did great. And honestly, I don't think there was anything else that any of them could have done. Like, as a whole cast, this is one of the best group cast performances I have ever seen. It was amazing. You've got to watch this movie for the performances if you like anyone that I've listed off here. Like, seriously, they're beautiful. Okay, let's talk about the directing. Tim Robbins was the director. I thought he did well. I really did. I thought he took the subject matter and ran with it. And I loved everything. He really got it out of his actors, too. My gosh, I love the directing for this, guys. Moving on to the music, I totally did not like the music for this at all. I'm just going to be perfectly honest. It shouldn't have been, like, really flowing and sweeping, but it was, like, these weird, vocals, and it just kind of, like, I don't know, it didn't fit with the film at all for me, and I really did not like it, to be perfectly honest. So I did not like the music for I'm just, like, being straight. I did not like the music for this at all. I thought it greatly detracted from the movie, to be perfectly honest. I'm sorry, David Robbins, but it was just, like, not, Um, Okay, the cinematography for this is so good. Oh my god, I love Roger Deakins with a passion. He is so good, and he just does, like, perfectly. Every scene is lighted perfectly. The tone of the film is very much like browns and yellows, which is just like, and creams, which is, like, perfect. It's just, I don't know, it's perfect in every way. His lighting is perfect in every way. I love him. Great job, Roger Deakins. Editing, I thought, was great. I love the editing for this because the film was well paced, and it just worked for me. The editing was great on this movie, in my opinion. The screenplay, I love the screenplay. Like, I really enjoyed the screenplay, guys, because every line added something emotionally to the film, which, of course, a lot of this writing was not Tim Robbins originally. He just wrote the screenplay for this. It was written by Sister Helen, who the movie is about, and her writing abilities are obviously awesome, but the way that Tim Robbins pulled great things from the book to fit into this movie and incidents and stuff, I loved it. Like, I thought the screenplay for this is amazing. And I loved it. Like, the screenplay for this is great. I would sit down, just like I did with the Lincoln screenplay and the Rocky screenplay. Like, I would totally sit down and read this for fun. Like, it's good. It's really good. Okay, I haven't, but if someone has it, send it my way. Like, I love reading screenplays. Okay, let's talk about the Parents' Guide for this film, guys, before I wrap this one up. Language, we have 2 uses of F, 1 use of the S word, 1 use of the B word, 1 use of D, 3 uses of A, and 3 uses of H, and 2 religious exclamations. So honestly, not that bad. Like, I was expecting more to do with the jail idea, but obviously none, considering Sister Helen is a nun, a Catholic nun. So, I really enjoyed that. I thought it was perfectly done. Like, I felt like, under normal circumstances, Sean Penn's character would have been, like, cursing constantly, but I felt like he was holding back because he was in the presence of a nun. So I thought that was perfect. As far as sexual content, there's a rape scene, but it's from really far away, and you can't really see anything. No nudity, you can't really see what's going on, and it's very brief. And there is 3 uses of, like, sexual terms, and then Sean Penn's character talks about his sexual past. Like, he was very sexually active when he was younger. Drug and alcohol, there's a ton of smoking. Like, Sean Penn's character is smoking, like, in almost every scene. He's just constantly smoking. But there's no, like, really alcohol or anything. And there's talk of, like, I was high as a kite when I killed those 2 people. Violence and gore, this is definitely the worst category in this movie because, first of all, there is pictures, like, lots of pictures and images of corpses. The 2 corpses that were murdered, and then there is the scene where they flash back where Sean Penn kills them, and it's from far away, and it's not that long, but, he puts a gun to somebody's head and pulls it, and there's no, like, blood spattering thing. You don't see any of that, but, people are dying, so there's that to be aware of. There's also the execution scene where Sean Penn is strapped to a table and given a lethal injection, and we watch him die, which was not overly gory, at all, really, but it's very sombering, and it's very realistic to me, so that's gonna unsettle your child a lot. Like, I would not let any child under, like, 13 watch this movie, to be perfectly honest. Like, it's so just real and really adult subject matter we're dealing with here, which is the death penalty and murder, so think about that. there's gun violence, as I mentioned. We do see the people get murdered, but it's brief, and you can totally skip past it if you don't want to see it, because the the lighting and everything totally changes when that stuff is coming up, so you'll know it's coming, and you can just fast forward if you don't want to see that. The final notes here: Susan's cry scenes are so beautiful, and all the cry scenes in this movie are so beautiful, and I loved all of them, and they were awesome, and bravo. It was just like Margie's little heaven moment, because I've really honestly think one of the true measures of a great actor is just being able to sell a viewer on the fact that you are genuinely emotionally weeping and moved. And I think honestly, if you can't do that, there's still a place for you in the film industry, but that's what separates, the top half from the bottom half, is the top half of actors can let it go. And oh my god, they all did. It was so beautiful. I just loved it. If you've been watching my reviews for a while, you know I'm always like, you know what, so-and-so just could have had a great cry, and it would have been awesome, and I would have loved it. Okay, they made me so happy. Yay, good cry scenes. Watch this for the cry scenes alone, guys, because they're so good. Oh my god. Alright. I did not like the music for this at all. I didn't think it went with the film, really, and I thought it was kind of strangely placed, but that's just me. It didn't ruin the film, but it just didn't add anything, and it kind of just my personal taste. This movie is very emotionally gripping. It's very real. It's very touching. It punches you right in the gut. It's just like, hey, here's life, here's death. Let's have a conversation. I felt like that was what the movie was saying, honestly, guys. It's very real. It's very, it makes you think. I watched this late at night, and I was, laying awake in bed for a while after this, because I was, thinking about it. Oh my gosh, this is real. And, of course, the death penalty is a real issue that we should all think about. But, I mean, this film really, when you see it, you kind of just want to be like, oh, look away. And this film's like, no. You need to think about this. Don't look away. This is, real. You need to think about it. So I love that about this movie. I really, really enjoyed it, and I think it's a great film. Now you come to the part of the review you really want to see, which is, would I watch this again? Absolutely. This is not one that you're going to, pop in on the weekend and eat some popcorn and chill out and, hang with the pals. This isn't that kind of movie. This is, to me, it's sit down by myself with the screen and watch and be oh my gosh, and probably tear up. It's not a friend's movie for me. It's one I want to just watch by myself. I'm just weird like that. I'm giving this movie 4.5 stars out of 5. It's near perfect. It's so good. I love this movie, guys. I really did. It's been so long since I really, seen a movie and been this is such a good movie. You should really see it. And so this is really exciting for me to be this is a movie that you should watch, in my opinion. It's gonna punch you in the gut. It's gonna be emotionally gripping. It's gonna disturb you. It's gonna be real and ugly. But I think it's totally worth seeing, and I think there's something that can be gained from it, which is life is precious, and it shouldn't be wasted, and every life is precious, regardless of circumstances or opinions or time period or anything. Every life is precious. So I love this movie, especially, too, from a Christian standpoint, because Sister Helen is just Jesus is awesome, and I love him, and I was oh my gosh, me too. I love that so much. Thank you so much for checking out my review of the great movie, the 1995 movie, Dead Man Walking. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys in the next review. Let me know what you thought of this film, please, and I'll see you soon.